You probably know already, I have signed with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom on a commercial advisory deal.
What's your initial thoughts on this, mate?
Well, we've done most of my career with the really small team that I've got, so I wanted to add to my value. Eddie's someone that I've known for a fair bit. I trust Eddie, and I want to make as much money and grow commercially as much as possible while I'm fighting.
You, and I think you are one of the biggest stars in global fight sports. So time to put some respect on that, time to build that brand, build that profile. Our role with you is to sit across the team to do that.
My goodness, did the UFC revolution just start? Did Eddie Hearn signing Tom Aspinall over to Matchroom Talent Agency, a management firm, becoming the manager of Tom Aspinall, do this to disrupt the UFC? Is it even possible? The heavyweight champion of the world, Tom Aspinall, has signed over with Eddie Hearn, who is at war with Zuffa Boxing and Dana White, calling each other pussies. Dana White just signed over Conor Benn, and that almost made Eddie Hearn cry, straight up. Eddie Hearn was real public about how bad this hurt him, especially the way that it went down. Conor Benn not even allowing Eddie Hearn a phone call. Wow. Tom Aspinall has been very public recently, talking about his problems with the UFC following UFC 321, where he competed against Ciryl Gane. In the first round, was getting jabbed up, bloody nose. Then gets double eye poked. And Tom Aspinall says he can't see. He could not see. And they end up stopping the fight. And UFC fans around the world go berserk. They go berserk on Tom Aspinall, especially John Jones fans. Guys, you know, who have backed up John Jones the whole career, don't really like Tom Aspinall, the beef that's going down with them. Supposedly they say John Jones ducked Tom Aspinall. I would say he did. I know he was offered millions and millions of dollars and turned it down. But that's for a different conversation. Dana White having problems with Tom Aspinall. Tom Aspinall still has an eye injury, but decides to sign with Dana White's rival, Eddie Hearn, who is now his manager, which means when Tom Aspinall comes back to the UFC, guess who Dana White is going to have to talk to? Eddie Hearn. Especially when it comes to money. Now, the reason why I said, will this affect the UFC? Does it have a chance? Is because we know Dana White and these guys have the power to shut your lights off, man. If you're at the press conferences and you ask them a dumb question, they got a power to never see you again. That's why you see everybody always sucking up to Dana White, right? Never asking the real questions that people want to know. They got power like that. They could shut your lights off just like that. Will Eddie Hearn have some type of disruption when it comes to fighter pay and trying to get these fighters more money? UFC fighters have seen Zuffa Boxing come in, and the type of money that they're throwing around, it's been driving UFC fighters crazy. And not just before Zuffa Boxing came, but for the last goddamn 10 years. Fighters have always said we're the least paid guys in sports. When it comes to how much the UFC is pulling in, they're only giving back a certain amount, 15, 20, 25%, could be 30. It's a very low number compared to the NFL, to NBA. Some of these guys are getting 50-50. Some of these guys are getting paid most of the revenue, or at least half of the revenue, not less than half, like the UFC fighters. Does Dana White have the has the power to say, you know what, Tom Aspinall? As soon as your contract runs up, we're done. We're done. You want to sign with Eddie Hearn and try to let Eddie Hearn come into the business and disrupt the business. Because think about this. What if Eddie Hearn is able to get more fighters, more champions, guys like Max Holloway, who was talked about unions outside of the UFC, to sign over, and now you got the UFC revolution, where you got all these fighters who decide, you know what? We want to get paid more money, and if not, we aren't fighting. Will that have any kind of chance of working? Or will Dana White make sure that Eddie Hearn has no possible way of disrupting the game at all? Will Eddie Hearn have a say? Let's just say they get into their first negotiation and Eddie Hearn says, nah, I don't like this. I want more money. And what will Dana White say to that? Will he bow down, bend the knee? Or is Tom Aspinall going to be sitting out for a long time, my people? The UFC fans, when Tom Aspinall got eye poked, you had 50% of the fans agreeing with the decision on him, you know, not continuing with the fight. And you had 50% of the people killing him, disagreeing, saying that he's a goddamn punk. After the fight, he visited the doctor. Right after the fight, went straight to the doctors. And at that doctor's, they said nothing was wrong. But Tom Aspinall was saying he couldn't see. Then goes all the way back to where he lives in the UK, has his own doctor see him, and it turns out the dude had, what is it, Brown syndrome? The dude had a bunch of things wrong with his eyes. Had to have surgery on them. But because of that initial doctor seeing, a lot of the UFC fans looked at him and thought he was lying. He hasn't got love, man. He hasn't got love, especially here in the United States, around the world. It's just been these UK fans that have been sticking with him. He wasn't getting love from the UFC. He wasn't getting love from Dana White. And now it's signed over to Eddie Hearn. I don't know what this means for the career of Tom Aspinall, but all I know is Eddie Hearn got his get back. You got Conor? Well, I'll take Tom. My goodness, man. I can't wait for the future and to see what's going to happen next. I always supported Tom Aspinall, so I'll support him in this, man. It's going to be absolutely exciting to see what happens. And if you guys are wondering, he's not boxing. The dude's not boxing. He's just the manager of, he just allows Eddie Hearn to manage him now. Let me know what you guys think, though. This is MMA Boxing Addicts channel. I'm out.